Hi, to begin learning any language, we should know the grammar of that language. So let's study the grammar of C in this module. We are going to study about the various data types available in C. There are three types of data types. First one is primary, the second one is secondary, and we have third one that is user defined data type. So let's concentrate on primary data type. There are three main data types which we are going to use in our C language, that is integer, float, character. Integer is used to store the whole numbers. We can include positive as well as negative numbers. You can see the example here, 10, minus 5. Then we have float data type. It is used to store the decimal number inclusive of positive and negative values. You can see the example here, 5.9, and the negative value is minus 10.2. Then we have the character data type. It is used to store the single character which we should enclose in a single quote. Now we will discuss about the different modifiers used with this base data type. What is modifier? Modifier is used to alter the meaning of the base data type. So we have four modifiers which we can use with our base data type. The first two are sign modifiers and the last two are size modifier. So what is sign modifier? It is the default one. It can store both positive as well as negative values. Then what is unsigned? When we don't want the negative range, we can add that negative range to the positive side, so our range will increase. Take one example. If you want to store the age of a person, the age cannot be negative. So if you use the unsigned modifier, then we cannot store the negative value and the negative range will add it to the positive side. Then we have short, it reduces the range of the values. Then we have long, it increases the range of the value. So let's see how this modifier works with our base data type. So first is integer. There are two qualifiers we have seen, that is sign and unsigned. The sign is default. So integer we can use in three types. One basic integer, we can add modifier short, we can add the modifier long to increase the range of the integer. So we can add sign to three of these integers to fix our need. Then for these three types of integer, even we can add unsigned. Integer take 2 bytes of memory and it can store values from minus 32,768 to 32,767. Then we will see how the modifier works with float data type. In float we cannot add sign and unsigned. For float we have different categories. The default one is float. If you want to increase the range, we can go with the double. If you want to increase the range further, then we can use long double. Then now we will see how the modifier works with character data type. Character we can add sign as well as unsigned. Character takes 1 byte of data and it can store the values from minus 128 to 127. So that's all for basic data type, that is fundamental data types. Now we have to discuss about the secondary data type. Arrays, functions, pointers are secondary data types. Structure, unions are user-defined data type that we will be discussing in the coming videos. Welcome back to the second module of C Basics. In this module, we will be discussing about the three concepts. The first one is keywords. Keywords are the special words which have special meaning to the C language which we cannot modify. Some of the keywords are listed here, which we'll be using in our program. Now the second concept we have to discuss, that is variable. So what is variable? The variable is used to store data. That is the simple definition of variable. Then how to declare variable? This is the syntax. First we have to mention the data type of the variable and then we will write the variable name. You can see here example, the first variable is of integer type, means the num variable can store only integer type values. In the previous videos, we have discussed about the different data types. The second example you can see here, the per variable is declared as a float, means this variable can take only float values. One more example we have, that is reply. this variable is of character data type, means reply can handle only single character. Now we will see at the time of declaration how we can initialize the values. So you can see here the syntax. First we have to mention the data type, then we have to write the variable name, and we can initialize the value here. So here I have initialized the three values. The first one is num equals to 10. The second one is the variable age, which is of float data type. We can store the decimal numbers. Then the third one is character data type variable, which can hold the character data. So now let's discuss about the various rules which we should follow while designing a variable. So what is the first rule? The variable can have alphabets, digits and underscore. So here you can see the example. The first example consisting of alphabets. Here we have used the number also, and here we have used the underscore. A variable can start with alphabet and underscore only. It cannot start with the digit. So you can see here the example. First I have written 1, then a, which is not allowed. Always variable should start with alphabet, not with the numbers. Then what are the other rules we have? No white space is allowed. You cannot give the space in between the variable. So here you can see this example. I am writing principal space amount, which is not allowed. Similarly, one more example I have mentioned here, that is total space pay. It is also not allowed. And the most important rule for naming a variable, that it cannot be a keyword. So what is the keyword? Keyword is a special word which has special meaning to the programming language. So these are all keywords which we cannot use as a variable. So be careful while designing the variables. Now let's discuss about the next concept, that is constants. So here we can see the types of constant. First category of constant is numeric, the second category is character. So let's see first the numeric category. In numeric category you can store integer and float. So integer we have discussed already what type of value integer can hold. It can hold positive as well as negative value, but not decimal. And what about float? Float can hold decimal values, positive and negative. And let's come to the category of character. Character can store a single character as well as string. So what is single character? Single character consists of single letter and we should enclose it in a single quote, and string is a set of characters we should enclose in a double quote. So that's all for constants. See you in the next video.